Said Jimmy Ham, while on a run from jail. Sweet Jesus, here I come, take me home, I'm on your way. Cheeseburger, onions, rings, cheesecake, root beer, January 31st, 1995. Willie Williams, who shot Claude Schaefer Jr. during a 1989 robbery in a delicatessen. Final words. There's love and peace in Islam. Robert Madden, May 28, 1997, who shot and stabbed 2 men. Give my dinner to the homeless dude. Make him whatever he likes. This request was denied.
I'll get your paper. Man. You gotta get your cards. All right. I forgot one other thing. If you read a poem or some piece by somebody else, as Richard just reminded me, I give you a piece of paper or a card, so that way you can put your name, the name of the poet or artist, and the poem, so that when I attribute it, when I do the write-up, I don't always write Charge of the Light Brigade starring. He always has an answer for that. Yeah. Anyway, so, as we like to say, I just gave it away. All right. Let me read the next 5 so we know who we are as they're coming. Oh, thank you. So, we have Buford, then Owen, then Louie, then David, then Hal, and Stephanie. So give Buford a nice rise and round of applause. Their business as an also.
This piece is called Atlanta, My New Life. After I moved to Atlanta with Carol and Jim, my older sister and her husband, my life became exponentially better. Though I was still living with a family member, I was not at home. I didn't have to hear my parents, especially my mother, ask, "What were you doing until 4 o'clock in the morning?" After I turned 21, my father seldom queried me in that way, but occasionally he would. With Carol and Jim, the question usually did not come up. That changed a bit when I developed a relationship with an interesting woman who worked at the DeKalb County Juvenile Detention Center, where she and I were both child care workers. One night, Lee was leaving for the evening just before I started to leave also, and she asked me what I was doing that night after work, if I wanted to go out for a drink, and I said yes. I had not thought much about Lee before that time, and if she seemed a little masculine to me, there was a good reason, since she was the head of the Emory University Lesbian Feminist Alliance. I was impressed, yet as we talked, I began wondering why she wanted to talk, given she was a lesbian. That obviously was not the entire story. We decided to have dinner, and as we ate, she asked me if I wanted to come over to her place for a nightcap. Sure, I said, and we headed to her apartment. What would you like, she questioned as she opened her refrigerator. Do you have beer, I wondered. She pulled one out and put it on a low table with a nice Asian design. She took out a bottle of some kind of whiskey and poured herself a drink. "It's my 20th birthday," she announced with a wry look on her face. We continued talking, and she moved over from a chair to her sofa where I was sitting. As she sat jam up against me, she threw her arm around my shoulder. She gave me a little kiss on the cheek. "I like the way you handle the kids in juvenile hall. You treat them with dignity, which they deserve, no matter what they might have done," she said. Her eyes were sparkling dark brown orbs. She kissed me on the lips, nice, full, rich, with obvious enthusiasm. "So you like men," I said, feeling silly and obvious, but I think proud of my recovery from the shock, and let's face it, happy. "Yeah," she said, By now, gasping a little bit, I kissed her back. "You want a cigarette?" she wondered. She looked puzzled, as a just-turned 20-year-old might. "No, I don't smoke," I told her. She pulled out the cigarette and lit one herself. Her gorgeous eyes mixed somehow beautifully with the otherwise ugly gray smoke. "My mother has emphysema from 35 years of smoking," I told her. "So does the smoke bother you?" "If you smoked yourself, it might not," she campaigned. "I think it would hurt me no matter what. I'm asthmatic," I said. "I'll put it out if it's a problem, but I might want another one later," she continued, the wry smile back with an unmistakable spark in those beautiful eyes. "I'm getting a little tired," she said. "Would you like to join me in bed?" I think that might be a good idea," I agreed, a happy lump beginning to form in my throat. It is almost impossible to say this, but the difference between who I was before I lost my virginity to Lee and who I was afterwards seemed to be something like I was the same person and I wasn't. It probably was astounding to her as a 19-year-old turning 20 that I hadn't had my cherry popped already, but I hadn't. I remember the lights in her bedroom, and they looked like kind of bordello-like, reddish orange, what I imagined a place like that to be, though obviously I'd never been to one. Written at the top of the wall I was facing was the line from Bill Withers' great song, "Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone," and I had little doubt this was about some woman Lee had slept with, maybe someone she loved. But I was too overwhelmed by everything to ask her about it, and it probably wasn't a good idea to probe into her life in that way. I remember her sitting above me with that wild light behind her, giving her a kind of surrealistic glow as I lay with my back in her bed. "Do you want me to begin with you?" she asked, as she started to climb on top of me. Then she stopped. "Maybe I should massage you first," she said, starting to have a kind of glow, a woman, instead of losing her virginity, giving that experience to me. She continued, as she had promised. I was in a state of, quote, good terror, unquote. My heart beating so fast and hard that she seemed to be mouthing something I could barely hear. "It's okay," I was finally able to make out. "I think you've had enough excitement for one night," she said, kissing me again, holding me as we drifted away.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Buford. So, yeah. Mr. Owen, come on up here. Then we got Louis, David, Hal, Stephanie, and Clara. Come on up. Give them a nice round, please. Owen,
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah. Ah.
Yes.
I can. Wow, close. Plus the slopes? What? Did you send up to the open?
Whippoorwill. Will-o'-the-wisp blank in the firelight of roses. Sparrows mock and cross each other in the huge, dank, dark sky of pain that drank the iron draught. The albatross, the court-like cavaliers that toss the caber, the hand of the tank that can drown all our sorrows, and our fright that doth travail out to the heavens, that narrows the barren bravura our minds to avail. Our thin arms of love and dismay, sunny skies are barren, a mind iron gray. Wired on alliteration. Wiry wives wiretap windward, who horrible,
Hula Harpy, Arms, Armistead, Aardvark, Action, Fastback, Frank, Forwards, Freaky Fridays, Kiss Campster, Karma, Kickoff, Kansas, Out, Order, Orifice, Ollie Oxen, Pimp, Paymaster, Pyrus, Put On, Raja, Ralph Reimster. Hairs Cut Off, Castro Cuties, Center, Cowslip, Curly, Get Up, Gizmo, Gingerbread, Gyrene, Castles, Tremble, Trieste, Tannenbaum, Torch, Torrid, Touchback, Trauma, Brewis, Butkus, Bravest, Braytone, Donkey, Downsized, Demonology, Dribble, Devil, Yoga, Yogurt, Yakima, Yo-Yo.
That's practice.
Frizz, perplex me now, fork the spoon. Threesome with tiresome as we see fit. The day brews on like ordering horses. Could I not try attempt this rhyme? June has passed, my ear is quiet, quiet as noon. Ghostly sky, the day has chanted, stood up to wassail. Lord love lusty Bonnie. Hood and saint praise now, praise the moon and stars for their austere wisdom. Sane as the midnight train, smoke and fire, the holiness of the big world. Crane and sky, a vast orgy that goes on. Wire and wood, hangers that stare at cock and crow feist.